Translated version. Arnulfo Reyes was lying on the floor of his classroom, wounded and pretending to be dead, while the attacker carried out his plan. The teacher says that everything happened very quickly and he could not do much to make the children safe, although he managed to tell him to hide under a table and fall asleep. Teacher Arnulfo Reyes was saved from dying in the massacre in Uvalde, Texas, by pretending to be dead after being shot by the attacker. In a detailed account of the moments of horror he experienced, the Hispanic teacher mentions how he had to endure the pain of his wounds and remain very still, while the armed suspect checked over and over again to see if he was dead, before shooting him again in the back. This Monday, Reyes gave an interview to Univision 41 in which he reviews the memories of the day his school, Robb Elementary, became the scene of one of the worst school shootings in the United States that claimed the lives of 2 teachers and 19 children. Lying on a sofa in his house, with one of his arms in a cast, and with a slow tone, the teacher said that he never saw the messages that the school sent about a temporary closure due to the presence of an armed suspect because he did not have the app open they use for this. He also didn't hear the loud announcements they make in classrooms when something is happening. When asked how he found out about what was happening, he did not hesitate to answer, "I heard the shooting outside and I started to think, something is happening. And when it happened, it was already too late to react," he said. This is how teacher Arnulfo Reyes survived the encounter with the attacker. When he entered says Reyes, and stops to take a deep breath before continuing to try to describe that first encounter with the subject, without his voice getting stuck. When he came into my room and when I thought he was there to hurt us and kill us. Happened very quickly, he recounted. Then his first protective instinct was to tell the children to get under the table so the attacker wouldn't see them. I told him to go to sleep because I didn't want him to see anything. Reyes believes that most of the time this armed suspect was in the school he spent in his classroom. Although the suspect first fired at room 112's alcove and later entered it through the door between 111 and 112. Reyes confirms the suspect was in 112 when officials killed the suspect. Reyes says he heard several volleys of fire but farther away. He did there and then he came to my room and did everything he did there, he said. While the shooting was taking place, the teacher and the children were lying on the floor. He says that he never lost consciousness, that he was in a lot of pain since he had already received the first bullet wound in his arm. He was there. You could hear everything he was doing on the table. He was breathing nervously, making sounds like coughing. I think he was nervous because he already knew that what he had done was something bad, describes Reyes. He wanted to be sure that Mr. Reyes was dead. The attacker checked again and again if the teacher was dead. According to his account, first he threw water on my back because I was on my belly. And he had a cup with ice water. He knocked it over. It was dripping down my back. I never reacted to that, he said. Seeing that Reyes was still motionless, the subject checked again if he was alive. He remembers that he also splashed blood on his face from a puddle that was on the other side of him. He grabbed it with his hand and threw it at me. But I didn't react either. The teacher's cell phone kept ringing and that caught the attention of the suspect. He grabbed my cell phone because it was ringing. He would drop it on my back to see if I would react. Still, I didn't do anything, the teacher said. About 30 minutes later, as he recalls, the attacker shot him in the back with another bullet. Here on one side, he says as he touches his right side. He didn't react to that shot either. I just stayed calm. I closed my eyes and waited for the people to come in. The police to come in. Until they finally arrived. According to the authorities' reports, the attacker was killed more than an hour after he started the shooting.